China ka maal hai, Sasti Hogi, this is how they speak. It's disgusting. How can you spit at somebody? Being an Indian is our identity,
Hmm.
and how can anybody question it? No one would ever think that racism would become the topic right now, because coronavirus is a pandemic which the whole world is dealing with. So I never, but I really was disturbed about this one incident where a guy spat at a girl and called her corona. And
Hmm.
when I retweeted that and I condemned it, that's when they called me half corona, you know. And see, me, my life has been different. I have always faced a lot of criticism about how I look and how I am, and how outspoken I am. So somewhere I have developed a really thick skin.
Hmm.
Now, what I'm not able to tolerate is these kind of things happening to other people, and it is so it's disgusting. How can you spit at somebody, and being a fellow citizen, how can you not feel bad about it? you know it could have been me, it could have been you, it could have been anybody, and we keeping quiet is giving them this power.
And just for the people who are watching, there have been a few instances. There was a girl in Delhi who got spat on, and like Jwala said, was called Corona. There were two men in Mysore who were trying to enter a grocery store, and they were not allowed to enter
Yeah,
because
today
they were
also, today also in Hyderabad there was an incident where two Manipuris were not allowed, and that
Mhm.
I'm just clueless as to how ignorant these
Yeah,
people are, or are they stupid? I would like to use even worse words, but we are live and I don't want to. But it just makes me so angry, and I'm so emotional about it because I've
yeah,
represented the country, for 20 years. I was, whenever we wear Indian jersey, we're like, we're so
yeah.
proud of it, and people know me as an Indian outside,
Hmm.
because people, you cannot remember a strange name which they can't
Yeah,
pronounce. So they know, oh, that Indian girl who is a lefty. That's how they probably would, that being an Indian is our identity,
hmm.
and how can anybody question it?
Yeah,
And I think when people question me sometimes, I think it is very laughable, because I stood for the national anthem more than anybody, whoever is trying to troll me. I have
yeah.
represented the country. I wore Indian flag on my t-shirt and I've played. So these people come and question my identity. It's very surprising. It's very sometimes it gets very irritating, actually.
Yeah, it's quite sad as well. Joanna, what were your conversations? I mean, obviously, since like at least I know for myself, since the time I was very young, I grew up in Delhi, right? So I obviously had a different sort of face from everybody, all of my friends. So, what are the conversation that you had with your parents when you were younger, and when a lot of people were calling you different words that you didn't really think you deserved to be called? So, did you go up to your parents? Did they tell you to
Early on, when I was 5, see, my father told me this very early in my age. When I was 5, there was a boy who was bullying me, and then when I went crying home, and I said, "Pa, he's bullying me." My father said only one thing: "Okay, today I'll come accompany you. Tomorrow also I can come accompany you. But what if I'm not there the third day? You need to learn how to." Fight your own battles, whether it's small or big. You need to, as much as possible. You have to, because you cannot depend on anybody. At a given time, I should have presence of mind how to handle it. I cannot panic. I cannot. So whenever people, and early, when I was really young in my teens, when people called me Chinky, I thought they were just प्यार से बुला रहे. You never understood what racism
yeah,
is. I come from an era where I've seen black and white TV, Doordarshan. There's no,
same?
yeah, exactly, right? So we never used to have so much conversation about racism. You're a different race. But people always used to stare at me because I am in South India and I was pretty fair for their, you know. But I thought that was normal because my mom is Chinese, so I definitely have a different skin than all my cousins as well, from my dad's side. So I never took it seriously. Only in 20s I started understanding what they really meant, you know. But then, by 20, I had developed this really strong personality that nobody could ridicule me or say it right on my face. I
Hmm.
was already representing the country, and I was already infamous for being, you know, saying it on the face. So a lot of people, you know, don't take me very lightly. They take, at least people who I'm surrounded with, they cannot really bully and get away. But since last 10 years, when the social media has become, a prominent part of our life, um, and I can't really go to their house and confront them. They know this fact. That's when all this China ka Maal, and then recently, of course, half Corona or China ka Maal hai, Sasti Hogi, this is how they speak in on social media, and sometimes it gets to me, but most of the time I don't think I think I have a very hard shell out in my exterior, and it doesn't affect me to that level.
You go through, because you obviously have like tons
Mm,
of people commenting on your messages, right?
mm,
Do you have
mm.
nights when you just like it just mentally shakes you up and you're not able to sleep because of those things? I mean, I have you sort of realized,
I
learn to
retaliate
compart, huh?
sometimes. I retaliate sometimes. I obviously cannot abuse, because we public figures need to keep our cool, and but
Somebody has to
now,
be the adult, right?
yeah, but I think last 3 4 days, even after my article, people said, "Yeah, ये तो सच्ची है, तुम तो हो ही corona." They're not realizing what they're saying. They must be just saying it, or let me give them the benefit of doubt. But I that shows their mentality. And I feel sometimes that these people could be the criminals of our society, who are just, this is like would be the starting of their whatever
Hmm.
activity, and later, if they are not confronted, they could go and commit a bigger crime
Bigger
outside. That's
crime,
what
yeah.
I feel, against women, which is again a very big thing in our country, crime against women. So I really strongly feel that the social media policing is very, very necessary today. And because social media is an important part of our lives. And I also read stories about how people end their own lives because of social media trolling. So I think the authorities should pay attention.